Believe it or not, I actually made a cameo appearance on the Discord, but I do prefer to lurk and take a smash and grab approach to Discord's Terraria insights. I've not been a Discord fixture like Reelogic's Line4s, who was back on repeatedly this week, responding to questions and comments from the community. And if you need a link to the Terraria Discord, just check the video description and I'll include one. Pestilence wrote, Line4s really didn't stick around, huh? But Line4s responded and wrote, I'm technically working, so I'm bouncing back and forth. But I can't really do anything because I'm stuck generating 150 worlds. Ouch. I should send Line4s a fruit basket or something. He's given a lot to the community. I feel like I owe him something. M4 FPS writes, Line4s, is mobile ever going to get a wider zoom out? The response, I don't know. More zoom equals higher performance requirements, equals slower functionality, and more phones that can no longer support it. Okay, as requested, here is 50% more zoom, but also 6% of your phones are no longer valid. It was said recently, maybe Loki said it, that whatever zoom mobile gets, if it gets anything, it's never going to go beyond the zoom level of the PC version. Spicy Dark Chicken Nugget wrote, Empress of Light theme, who designed it? Line4's response, all of the tracks in the game were done by Scott Lloyd Shelley, though we often give him sources for inspiration and direction. Underground Deserts track had StarCraft Zerg music as an inspiration source. Now that first soundtrack or the first StarCraft soundtrack rather, was definitely amazing. Actually had the same composer, a guy named Matt Ullman, as composed the original Diablo, so if you like that theme, he was behind the StarCraft soundtrack also. And I definitely hear some of the guitar references to those Zerg tracks. Very interesting. Stella the Stylist writes, Line4s, there will be new achievements besides those 15 spoiler achievements, or only 15 will be added? Can't say. Comments in the August State of the Game post, as well as my State of the Game video, both did a really good job of speculating on what the achievements will be, based on the silhouettes shown. So go back and check those if you're curious. Starlight wrote, I still don't understand how Gollum was buffed, to be honest. The answer was pretty insightful. Line4s wrote, I'll explain, but for the most part, the buffs were overhyped and misunderstood. There were two changes. One of them improved his ability to jump around and get to people who were trying to cheese him with blocks and positioning, so he's more likely to jump around in a way that will let him hit you, rather than getting stuck on stuff. The second one only applies to Expert Master multiplayer, which is why most people don't run into it. He now has scaling attack speed for every additional player. This scaling increase is dramatic, and against groups of 5 or more, he becomes an absolute beast. I'll have to say he didn't seem too difficult to me, so that explains it. Idle Spartan writes, Hi Line4s, do you have any available news on whether Master Mode will be revamped or just updated in 1.4.1? If so, could you spare some details if possible? Line4's response, there are no planned revisions, changes to Master Mode. It is currently how it is intended to be. That would take a heck of a lot of work and time, and Master Mode was never meant to take up that much of our time from other stuff. Now, I will say if you're on the PC version, there are mods for that sort of thing. Spicy Dark Chicken Nugget writes, what if just change boss AIs but not enemies? Line4's response, same answer. But the chicken nugget was not done. They wrote, 4 months without sleep would get it done. Line4's answer to that, well, we'd rather put that 4 months to something else. Redigit only wanted to do Master Mode if it didn't take a ton of time away from other projects. Other projects, huh? Interesting. Hush wrote, Line4s, just a question. I know you get a lot about mods, but do you think that Terraria could have a mod menu in the title screen like Skyrim and Fallout? The answer to that was, it'd be pretty unlikely. Bethesda's implementation of mods on consoles is highly controversial and unpopular, and has a lot of legal issues. And as he would later point out, Bethesda is also a huge and very rich company. But how cool would it be if Tmod Loader came to mobile devices? That would be pretty nice. Adayo-kun wrote, Line 4's how many bosses in mobile Terraria version 1.4? The answer, which you probably expect, was same as PC 1.4. Pretty obvious, that one. Shocked Face wrote, Stardust Guardian, Star Platinum. And Line 4's was intrigued. Line 4's wrote, Why are you calling it Platinum? What is Star Platinum? Well, they showed this to explain themselves. And Line 4's response to that was, Man, I regret opening up Discord. Hey, you asked. Rainburb wrote, Line 4's, is there any way to pass the Terraria Otherworld to some other people to finish? Line 4's answer, I don't think we want to. The whole issue was that it wasn't good enough as it was being worked on by another team. We aren't trying to start that whole process over by making another team spend 6 months trying only to fail again. And he would go on to explain, Otherworld's assets aren't compatible with Terraria. You couldn't just slap them in Terraria and done. Terraria Otherworld's block to player size wasn't even the same as Terraria. Everything would be off. Well, that's a shame. The art style reminded me a bit of Metal Slug. It's a fun look. Maybe in the next game that's a route they'll take artistically, but we'll just have to wait and see. Rainburb was back with Line 4's. Is there going to be a non-seed Easter egg in Terraria 1.4.1? So instead of a special seed, are we going to see any kind of other Easter egg? The answer, if there is, I wouldn't tell you. Well, that's part of the charm of Easter eggs, I suppose. Question Wave writes, also, why lock strange plants to hard mode? The answer, progression of dye. It was weird to be super early game and running around with some crazy exotic strange plant dye before you'd even unlocked sky blue dye. Those strange plant dyes are pretty amazing, worthy of hard mode. And before hard mode, you're improving your gear often enough that, at least I for one, don't spend very much time doing customization work anyway. Spec wrote, Line 4's, I don't know if you know this, but are seeds going to be on console? I want to get the Moon Lord's legs on console when 1.4 comes out, and I know that's a set seed. Line 4's answer, I'm pretty sure. Now hopefully DR Studios doesn't run into any issues on that one. Seeds are a really neat little addition to the game, and you'd be missing out if they don't make it to console. Coffee writes, what we really need is you guys to do something with the Ocean Cave. It has so much potential. Line 4's answer, Ocean Cave was a project that we got sidetracked from, unfortunately. The ocean biome has a lot of untapped potential for sure, no question about that. But they went from Ocean in the chat to Okram in the chat. And for those who don't know, Okram is a boss for mobile Terraria that was removed after the 1.2 to 1.3 transition, and they've been very clear Okram is gone for good. Anyway, in response to the Okram chat, Line 4's shared this. So, again, painfully obvious, it ain't coming back. Ninja wrote, Line 4's, will Terraria have another collaboration? The answer, probably not for Terraria itself, since development is ending. All good things must come to an end. Baristan Boo writes, Line 4's, wasn't there going to be new themes for 1.4.1? The answer, there is one unimplemented track that will be in 1.4.1, that's it. Coffee was back again with, what style of game does Reelogic have in mind to make after Terraria? We aren't telling. Now, they've said in the recent past that they're not going to be revealing any future projects until those projects are pretty far along. Their experience with announcing the now cancelled Terraria Otherworld taught them a few lessons, I think. Speaking of which, Dino Chest 14 writes, are all the tracks planned for Otherworld used? The answer, yes. We put the entire Terraria Otherworld soundtrack in as the otherworldly tracks. There aren't any secret leftovers we didn't use. And there's no secret leftover developer chat that I didn't use. That's it for now. That's all I could scrub off the Discord server. So Thanks for watching if you made it this far, and I will stay tuned to Discord and anything else I can post. I'll see you next time.